everyone, welcome to today's reading on what you thought versus what's the truth of the situation. So many a times what happens is we get into these situations, and because we are not able to see the truth of the situation, the bigger picture, and how it's helping us, we can feel quite defensive or react in a way that gives our power away. And so this situation, this picker card will help you resolve some of the past hurts that you might be facing right now. This will help debunk some of the truth of the situation that you have faced in the past, and we will see what you thought, and we will see but what is the truth, what is the higher perspective, what illusions were misinterpreted as truth, which led to the pain. So we will be taking 3 charms from my polymer clay charm bag that I made, and let's see what charm wants to come out for this thought versus truth reading for pile 1. What charm wants to come out for pile 1? Okay, what charm wants to come out? So we have for pile 1 this charm with the mouth and 3 symbols, $, and this is some random symbol I made. So this is the charm for pile 1. Let me zoom in a bit. Okay, maybe a little bit more. Yeah. Let's take a charm for pile number 3. I mean 2. What charm wants to come out for pile number 2? And we have this charm with the guy holding bag and another guy. So this is the charm for pile number 2. And let's take a charm for pile 3. Ooh, we have the Dexter charm, Dexter's lab. Nice. So these are the 3 piles you can choose from. If you're feeling drawn to more than one pile, feel free to listen to that part as well, and you will find the timestamps for the 3 piles in the description box below. Welcome pile 1s, those of you who chose this mouth with a lot of symbols on top. Let's get some idea about your situation using the Disney Princess postcards. So let's see what wants to come out for pile number 1 to help us understand your situation. Okay, so we have a card for you guys. We have a Snow White card. Okay. We will put this on the side here, and we will now look at these cards that I made to first see what you thought of the situation. What you thought, which was the situation happened and this is how you interpreted it. Let's see what you thought of the situation that happened to you. So what did pile 1 think about the situation? How did they perceive it? Okay. How did pile one perceive it? One more card, please, for how did pile one perceive the situation? Okay. Okay, so this is the truth. No, I mean, it's still what you thought. And now let's take a look at what was the truth about the situation. What was the reality of the situation? What was the truth of the situation, herself? What was the truth about the situation? Let me quickly ask. Do I need to take more cards for pile one? Okay, let's take some more truth cards for you. What was the truth about the situation for pile one? Do we need more cards? No. Okay. Okay, pile one. So the situation that we are seeing here is about you being the Snow White of the story, and I have nothing against the dwarfs in the film, but in the end she goes with the prince, but she first chooses to go to the dwarfs, and there's nothing bad about it. But what her true what her true desire was the prince, right? And but she chooses the dwarfs first. I don't want to offend anybody because I don't think anything is good, bad, right, or wrong. I just want to point to the fact that similar to the goblins card, like you choosing a place for yourself to be in where there is goblins or thieves, like mice, in how sometimes mice are represented, associated with theft. They are also associated with abundance, so that's interesting. But in some decks, the association is with low vibrations, to steal, to thief, steal, and not the highest vibration. So what's coming here is that because you were feeling a lack of self-worth in the situation, lack of self-worth, you chose yourself to be in a situation, whether it is a relationship, whether it is a work situation, or any other collaboration or environment for yourself. You know how we plant seeds in the soil, and even if the seed is very good quality, just like Snow White, if we choose soil with harsh climatic conditions and deprived of nutrients, this even that high quality seed will not sprout. So what this is suggesting is that you chose an infertile soil for yourself, but because you were so desperate to be planted somewhere, at the time, no judgment. Okay, there's nothing but love and healing in this channel. Um, but you were feeling a lack of self-worth. You were feeling like you did not have a better choice for yourself at that time, and you wanted to be planted somewhere. And so you tried to mask some of the truths. Maybe you told yourself, no, this is good for me. Like maybe you found a guy and you kind of told yourself, no, he is good for me. Or perhaps you found a job and told yourself, no, this is good for me. At the time, you tried really hard to tell yourself this is what is good for you. But the truth is, what you thought was that. Um, it was good for you. It was an abundant place for you. It was a good opportunity for you. Financial expansion. It will lead to your financial expansion, and it does talk about work environment. So you thought it was the good work environment for you when you chose this place for yourself. But even at that time, when you thought this, there was an underlying truth to all of that, which you were denying to accept because you were so focused on being planted. Your priority was not to, you know, how we say that beggars can be choosers. You were feeling a lack of confidence at the time within yourself to know that you have all the abundance available to you when you come to this earth, and it is up to us to increase our self-worth to a point where we can attract more choices for ourselves, better, healthier choices for ourselves. And at the time, you thought that was the best choice you could make, and perhaps that is true. Perhaps there were not other opportunities at the time that you thought were worth your time and energy, and so you chose what you thought was most abundant for you, a healthy work environment. And um, you intuitively knew the answer, that that place is not the best for you, but you were choosing to mask the truth so that you could work sanely or be in the relationship sanely with the person, um, because because of this feeling of lack within, feeling of needing to be planted somewhere, needing to have that security that I have this job or I have this person, instead of waiting and weighing all your all the options and then choosing which is most in alignment with yourself. So there was like this need to just choose and be in this and then tell yourself this is good for me. So this was what you thought was abundant, but you intuitively even then knew that that's partly true, but partly not true. And the complete truth about this situation, what you that is like this was what you thought, and this is the truth. And so now let's look at the truth about the situation. And so the truth was that there was a lot of superficiality in the situation in this workplace, um, because it made you feel very constrained. It made you feel like you had to do this a certain way. There was like a rigid right and rigid wrong way. You felt like you could not follow your heart all the time, even though it was made to feel that you have the choices. But perhaps this authority figure or perhaps this other person in the relationship was very controlling. And even though they might have seemed to be very open-minded, in reality they were very controlling. Their energy was very controlling, and if you did not please them, that would mean that either you would lose the job or you would lose the relationship if you did not work in accordance with how they were feeling. That is very controlling energy, very limiting. Most of the work situations are like that. People, bosses, relationships, people try to control. In family relationships, the parents try to control the choices of the children. In partnerships, one partner tries to control how the other works and what the other does and where the other goes. In business situations, the authority figure tries to control and micromanage, and that all of that is very limiting, because the more you micromanage, the more you're killing the other person's freedom and creativity. Freedom is most important. Free will is most important for anybody. And that's what I was thinking earlier today as well, that when I have a big enough platform, I'm going to talk about this zoo situation. Like, once you become spiritually aware to a certain point and are sensitive enough, you can feel the pain around. When I went to the zoo last time, I saw the animals, and usually I remembered as a kid when I went to the zoo, I was quite happy. But after I went there, after I had gone through this partial spiritual awakening, I'm still working through it. But I was enough awakened to feel the pain of these animals who were trapped. I was so disappointed to hear that how they train animals. They, when they are infants, they tie them to the rope, and they try to run as a child. They try to run and run, and eventually when they are so fail, they feel a feeling of, they're so tired and they're so disappointed and they're so hopeless about running away, that even after they are untied, after they grow up, they don't try to run away. That's how much of a subconscious prison they are trapped in, that they don't even feel the hope in running away. Because I was surprised how there were no, like, steel rods blocking them. They was the like, there was nothing trapping them. There were parts of, partly there were some animals that were trapped, but majority of the animals were just left like that, and I felt so much pain for them. It was really, I did not expect my zoo visit to be that painful. So that's what, people try to restrict other people, control other people in so many different ways, not even people, like animals. Similar for prisons. Sometimes people don't realize that they are forcing other people to work out of fear. They threaten them that they will lose their job or they will give up on the relationship, always trying to use fear to control the external, and not choosing to trust in the universe, allowing things to happen the way they are supposed to happen, and just nurturing whatever you have, a relationship or a work situation, with love and not fear. If you are an authority figure, try to work, choose with love and not with fear. And most of the times that is true, because the universe is trying to show us that that's what we are projecting. We are also trying to control something in a certain way. We are also driven by fear in certain ways, and that gets reflected back to us. So that's like a cycle going on. But we can always free ourselves from this by trying to be conscious of our own actions, that we are not doing that. And when we stop doing that, the universe stops reflecting that back to us. That's how we end cycles. So the truth anyway about this situation was that you were feeling very constrained about being in this place. Like, you were expected to be a certain, um, do certain things and work certain hours and give this much time and energy to it, and almost to the point of over exploitation of your reserves. And because probably the whole environment was quite imbalanced, you kind of felt like it was obligatory for you to work at that pace as well, to force yourself to work even when you don't feel like working. And all of that gets reflected in our physical bodies. um, we fall sick, we feel tired, we feel uninspired, and things start to, um, yeah, like the tower moments happen when all of this happens, but that eventually leads us to freedom. That's the good news. But anyway, you did realize the truth here, that the truth of the situation was that it was not as abundant as it seemed. All that glitters is not gold, is what you basically realized here. And um, you felt very constrained to do things a certain way and to be a certain person. Perhaps you were asked to do a lot of things to prove yourself that you deserve to be in this place. And you eventually grew tired of it, because you realized that I don't need to prove myself to anybody. I am the creator of my reality. and I can get whatever I want. It's not my job to prove my worth to other people. I just need to know it within myself to choose proper environments for myself to be in. People who can encourage and support me in my dreams, that sort of thing. And yeah, so but the truth right now is that you need to be perhaps more accepting of your current structure and learn to find happiness even if things are not done your way. So here the challenge was to find your peace and happiness even when things were not going your way, even when you were feeling obligated to do certain things and do certain responsibilities in this situation. But you learn from this situation, you learned a lot, and you eventually become free. If this has happened, or if you know this already, or this truth or not, like this is what eventually happens. You free yourself from the illusions about self, any false belief that anybody else says about you, like you are not good enough, you don't deserve that, or I don't think this is true or real what you think, and this is not the way how things are done. All of that, you do not because you do not believe it within yourself, because all of the work that you do in this situation, that if anybody else says something, you know that you know what's the truth for you because you have done the inner work. And you don't, and perhaps uh, at one point in a situation you are very defensive and you react to a lot of the things that are said, but eventually you learn to remain calm and inert, and you realize that your worth is that you are the universe and everybody is just the same. So there is no comparison. We all have a different soul purpose and soul mission, though, and we can achieve that by raising our vibration. Nothing else is important, whether you can do 10 projects in a month or one project, whether you have a healthy relationship or you are working towards it. Nothing determines your worth. Your worth is that you are the universe, and everybody else is also the universe because they are a reflection of you. And by becoming, healing yourself, healing your self confidence and self worth, you are raising your vibration. And that's helping you align to your soul purpose. And that's what's the most important thing. And this situation, this choice of the past, that helped you to realize all of this. So, yeah, so perhaps if in the past you lied about the situation to yourself, the truth is that eventually you see past the illusions, you see past the superficiality, you find the peace in yourself to not be affected by your external environment, even if it is not the way you wanted to. You still are able to find your peace within, because we are connected to the universe, to the source, through our heart. And if we can channel that, then we can find our peace. And now that you realize that that was a constrained situation to be in, the future choices you make will be more mindful of this, that you're not hiding any truths from yourself while making choices. So, part one, that was your reading. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give it a like, and I wish you lots of love and light. Welcome, file number two. Those of you who chose this charm of a guy holding two bags and another person, let's take a look at your Disney postcards to give us some idea about your situation, to see what situation we are trying to see the thought versus truth part. Okay, so we have the cards of Sleeping Beauty and Angle. Sorry, I was just checking if these are the cards that wanted to pop out. Yeah. And now let's take a look at what you thought of the situation. What you thought of the situation. What did Barto think about this situation? What did Barto think about this situation? Actually, I will reshuffle this one. What did Baltu think about the situation? Okay. Any more cards on what did Baltu think about the situation? And what was the truth about the situation? What's the truth about the situation? That's a lot of synchronicity. Aww. So, pile 2, I am glad to announce that for you guys, what you think and what's the truth is very close, and you are right on point with what you thought. And as you can see in this card, this girl is resting. There are some shadows around her, but there's this beacon of light falling on her that's guiding her. And I was a little confused as to what this two dependent card meant, and so I went on and clarified that with the charm, and I got this charm of a soulmate, twin flame, sort of a very highly spiritual connection, and where you two are connected very strongly at all throughout your chakras, through crown, through heart, through root chakra. You guys are very strongly connected, and perhaps you are in a separation phase right now, as you can see from this in this postcard where Aurora is resting in her palace. Little bit of darkness, little bit of light, working through. As you can see, she's sleeping. So there is a lot of reprogramming going on subconsciously. And what you think of this is that this time is for you to gain your independence, to get in alignment with your authentic self, to be courageous, to follow your soul's truth. This is your energy right now, and this is what you're thinking about this situation that you're in right now, or perhaps you were in the past. And I'm being drawn to this charm where, as you can see, there's a lot of baggage here, and this was initially made with this intention of baggage. And as you can see, there's a lot of clearing away of baggage. And that's what you think this situation was all about. And yes, indeed, universe is confirming that for you here in this card. This is from Tangled. So beautiful, such a beautiful card. Just before this reading, I went outside um, into nature and just stepped on the grass and just asked the universe to share all this unconditional love and wisdom that they uh, allow me to tap into, to share with everyone. And that this card reminds me of just that feeling of blissfulness, of true joy, of feeling so loved and protected and nurtured by the universe. And that's the truth about the situation. This is the truth, and it's very similar to what you were thinking. And this time is meant for you as a blessing. You might be feeling some sorrow, um, also because you are not physically in communication with somebody who's this like such a pull towards them, so connected to them. So obviously you're feeling some pain, but the more we focus on this pain, the more we attract it. The more we focus on other things that our soul is calling us to do, the more we attract that. And the soul is calling you, asking you to be in this energy of appreciation, of gratitude, of forgiveness. And see here the main two cards that came out for you about the truth of this situation is that forgiveness, not only for healing our own hurts, but also to give the other a second chance and not judge based on past actions, because it was a gift, blessing in disguise. And so the second chance thing is very typical in twin flame soulmate connections, because there's so much inner work that goes on that gets reflected into the reality, that yes, they might have done things in the past, held beliefs, and that are so hard to forgive. But this is one of the major important lessons of a soul connection. And because it frees you so much, as you can see, like it helps you break away from all the every heavy energy vibration that might be in your energy, in your aura, helps you to focus on love beyond the pain, like ending cycles of pain and only channeling unconditional love and blissfulness in your being. And the other truth about this situation is that this time is for self reflection, to communicate with the universe. The most important connection we have as human beings is one with the source, because we create half of the reality and the universe helps in bringing that half and make it complete manifestation of our dreams. So just understanding how your mind works, what beliefs you hold, and how are you collaborating with the universe to manifest what you desire, and then to share it with the whole collective so that they can evolve and learn from, like, sharing your experiences, sharing what you have gained through all these tough experiences. But you're so ambitious in your spiritual journey that you chose so many things to evolve from, because it gives you a high. It's like it's something that you crave. Like a lackadaisical life is not for you, like a routine is not for you. You are like a wild wind, a wild storm who likes to explore and expand and challenge themselves and others, to grow and to live and to embrace life. because it is that beautiful. It is that beautiful, and it's so not unfortunate because everything happens for a reason, but I'm so excited for the times to come on planet Earth, Mother Gaia. Like, there's going to be so much blissfulness. The more people are suffer, the more they are actually becoming closer to their truth, because when they see this is not working, this is not working, this is not working, they will all eventually see that the ultimate thing that works is the inner work. You have to do the inner work for it to reflect in your external, and that's what you're doing in this period. You're letting go of any fears, any limitations, any self-sabotage, any old beliefs that do not serve you, like a complete reinvention of yourself. And the image that came into my mind was of Cinderella when she gets ready for the ball party. I don't know. They don't say that. Ball, simply ball. And fairy godmother. You can think of the fairy godmother being the universe, helping you to understand your truth, your true self-worth, what you're capable of, what you're capable of manifesting, and owning your power, you know? And the universe is confirming through these three cards that involvement, there is a time for us to go out, collaborate, share, experience, and there's a time to be by ourselves. And this is the time for you. This is a good time to spend by yourself, to raise vibration, heal, integrate, and reflect. You know, not that it's so beautiful that, even if we realize that, okay, I know this, let's say I know some truth, I have realized some truth, I have gotten some insight about something in this particular situation, and now that becomes like a general truth for you. You can apply in other situations as well. For example, let's go to the very basic, that you realize your self-worth through a romantic connection. Now it's so beautiful because now you think that you understand this concept of self-worth because you have stood up for yourself in your relationship with one person. Now this concept is even more embodied by us as we experience the different perspectives and sides of embracing this concept through other areas as well. Perhaps you're learning this concept, applying this general truth in your family relationships. Perhaps you're applying this truth in your communication skills. Perhaps you're applying this general truth in a work situation. So, these beautiful experiences, they just keep adding and adding and adding and giving you so much more understanding into everything and making this beautiful universe and unlimited capacity to learn. I was always afraid, though I always felt like, before a year ago, I would feel that I don't know enough, and I would see that as a lack, and I would think that, um, by learning more and more and more about random things, I will gain more knowledge and finally come to a point where I know enough. And that was a false belief I had. And I had to change that by thinking that no, I just went through this awakening. Never in 1,000 years would I have imagined that. There is this aspect about ourselves as well, the spiritual aspect as well, and um, that's what gave me the understanding that the universe works in mysterious ways, and all the information that we need will come to us at the right time, and we need to believe that and trust that. And so I stopped. I no longer had the need to learn more and more and more, acquire more bookish knowledge to make myself feel um, more intelligent or more wise. I realized that what you learn through a book, till you have not experienced that practically with a situation in your life, you don't truly embody it. It's very important to apply the knowledge that you're learning. Otherwise, it doesn't feel like you know it yet. It feels very superficial. It feels like the depth is missing. And that's why it's so important to be present, because you are applying at every moment in your life a beautiful new concept or understanding yourself in a different way. It's important to be present so that we are applying it to the fullest. We are understanding things to the fullest. And the more and more we try to be present, like there's no limit to being present. You can become so present in the moment that you experience time like in slow motion. Like that is the level of presence you can have, like going to the eighth dimension and things like that. So there's no limit to anything. You can just go on building and building and building. And that's so beautiful. And I'm so grateful our universe is like that. And Supermoon Tarot, I was listening to her reading on Akashic Records, where she visits this place and she looks at all the floors in the library. And she looks down and she sees infinity. And she looks up and she sees infinity. There is so much knowledge. The knowledge is infinite. You can never truly, I mean, you can never feel like you know everything. There's always room for growth. There's always room to learn more, experience more. And you can do that by just being present and enjoying the present to the fullest. Anyway, I have digressed enough from the topic, but that was something I was feeling guided to share. So, yes, so this time is for you to take to yourself, to be present, to appreciate, to enjoy, to rejoice, to feel fulfilled within yourself, and to learn to take a break as well. Like, I am sure that you are a very spiritual, very ambitious, and you want to do things. Perhaps if you resonate with divine feminines or divine masculines, they are so ambitious. They want to do so much, and that's a lesson that most of the twin flame soulmates they go through, is to learn to take a break, because that's a form of self-love and self-care. As much as we want to be ambitious, if we don't take the time for gratitude, all that we've worked for, trying to chase something, never feeling the fulfillment out of it. So it's very important to take the time to enjoy and rejoice in the moment and for all that you've done and gone through. And yes, that's what it says: expression, healthy, gratitude, balanced. And when you're in this beautiful state of gratitude, universe works very easily with you and with your manifestations. And your connection with the universe is strong as well, as you maintain this state of peacefulness and gratitude. So yes, pile 2, that was your reading on the thought versus the truth. And it is, you see the situation well enough, or perhaps you already know all these things from other tarot readings you might have seen. So you already at par and seeing things clearly, and congratulations for that. And if you enjoyed this reading, please give it a like, and wish you lots of love and light. Welcome, pile 3. Those of you who chose this beautiful Dexter charm, let's take a look at what you thought about somebody or some situation, and what's the truth behind it. First, let's take some Okay, what's left first? Let's take some Disney cards for you to get more information about your situation. Okay, we have one card. Okay, we have Princess Jasmine. Let's see if any other card wants to come out for pile 3. And yes. Okay. Let's take a look at first what you thought about the situation, or whatever you thought, how you perceived something or someone. So how did pile 3 perceive? Okay, we have some cards here. Okay. Let me shift this up. And it's still not fitting. Well, that's fine, I guess. And before I move on, I just want to check something. Okay, so let's take a look at the truth. What is pile 3's truth? What is the truth in this situation for pile 3? What is the truth? There's a lot of stress here. Let's see, what's the truth about the situation? Is there any more cards that want to come out for pile 3? Okay, so we have energy. I think I'll have to shift my cards. Still in the frame. Okay, space for more. Block. Oh man. No, nothing to be worried about. I'm sorry if I scared you. Interesting. So, pile 3. This pile of what you think and what was the truth and what it was all about, this is also talking about a very spiritual connection you have. Perhaps you resonate with twin flame, soulmate relationships, and whatever this situation was, I feel for most of you it's a divine soulmate sort of a connection. But if you feel you are attached or feeling pulled to something, whether it's um, a career, a path, or another person, you can apply that to this as well. So, with this Dexter charm, you can see he's a scientist and very analytical and very logical. And that was the theme. That is kind of the theme of the reading, that initially, when this connection came to you, you were more in your masculine energy, your analytical side, and your feminine was suppressed. And as you can see in this card, with Princess Jasmine, she is not feeling the best here. She is sort of, yeah, looking away, and like she is kind of, see, she's trying to hide some of the monkey part of herself. A monkey in the sense, um, she might be trying to present herself as very perfect in every way, and perhaps not embracing her full authentic self, which is the most beautiful. Even with the monkey, she is beautiful with all her goodness and all the monkeyness, you can call it. And it was required because the logical mind did not approve of this part of herself. She sort of looked away and only focused on what was accepted, and she tried to live in that truth that I embrace what is accepted and good. And there was need to master this logical side of themselves to allow her to embrace her complete self with everything, because everything is just as beautiful as the universe itself. Like, the universe created everything as perfect. It is the limited mind beliefs that fail to see the beauty, and that's what she was overcoming. So this is the situation, and with this marriage card here, definitely talks about a commitment. And if you know, this is from The Princess and the Frog, and the prince was a frog at the time and had to grow up, and like everything had to happen for them to be the best version of themselves for each other. So initially, what started out as a frog became a prince. So if that can happen, your divine counterpart can obviously change themselves, reinvent themselves in the same body. And here you can see how she is embracing the frog side of him as well by wearing this green dress. I will just pull this card out. It's beautiful. So if you can see, this is from Princess and the Frog, and she is wearing this green color because she is embracing every experience with her partner, her divine counterpart, because they both grew, they both learned, and it is from the darkness that gave them the opportunity to reinvent themselves, and they are embracing that part. As you can see, they are still connected to nature with all these leaves. Though they are this abundant, beautiful couple, they are still connected to their intuition, to their divine selves. And that's what was the situation we are going to address in this reading, as to what you thought about this situation. So here, what you thought was this. Karmic Lesson 9, Learning How to Identify with Self, Individual / Cosmic. So perhaps in the past you you limited your individuality to your own body, And you what you thought of this situation, if you thought that and it's going to differ for different stages, but you knew what you thought that this is going to teach you to um, learn about the cosmic self, because perhaps as he was the divine counterpart, as they were a frog before, they might have been mixing up with other froggies, or perhaps they were busy jumping around on leaves. And if you had not fully completed this karmic lesson 9, you would have felt this feeling of jealousy, because when we think of somebody else as separate, we compare and we are jealous and all of that. When we see them as part of ourselves, we include them and allow our consciousness to grow and expand, because truly they are a part of you, they are a reflection of you on their own soul path, but they are reflecting some aspects about you to make you more aware. So, identifying that your individuality is not limited to your body, but everything on your external, internal, everything encompasses you. And learning how to be grateful for everything on the external, helping you become more aware of your shadows so that you can heal from it. Because only when you know the problem can you solve it, right? And I'm not saying it's a problem. We are all perfect as it is, but we are we are life, and as life we evolve. So there's always growth happening. And so you knew that through this situation, you are going to be expanding your consciousness. The other thing that you knew about was what you thought of the situation was that you were stressed. You were feeling very stressed. And I kind of confirmed that this card with this charm I pulled out. This is like a mermaid diving into the depths of the ocean. This is one of my favorite charms because it's just so beautiful and cute. So you were afraid of the pull you were feeling towards this other person, and it's natural in a spiritual connection. You just feel this undeniable attraction. And when the other person says that, they when the other person denies it or hides that, it's just so annoying. And perhaps that was something that was stressing you out. And I'll just read this card out. Except, like, I'll not read my name. So, dear viewer, you are stressing yourself to ensure that your commitments are fulfilled, as you feel it is your complete responsibility and feel guilty and anxious for not being able to do it. So perhaps you thought that you were not able, it was your responsibility to make this connection happen, or to make it successful, or to, be this person so that you can have this, because it felt to you very destined. So you knew that it was a destined connection, and that's what was stressing you out, because you were trying to hold on to this person who denied to acknowledge this connection, perhaps because they were going through their own fears or whatever. But you definitely recognize that this situation was burning you out. Like, you were feeling this undeniable pull, and you were being pulled into the depths of the ocean, and the other person was not willing to follow through you to have your back, and that's what was stressing you out, perhaps. And what you also thought was that, yes, perhaps there was a tendency that you were aware of already of overthinking. What you remember as unfair is an exaggeration of our mind. The truth of the situation is far more beautiful than what you realize. Open up to the love in the situation. Stop giving energy to that thought. And So you thought of this situation as a very big soul lesson for yourself that's going to expand your consciousness, that's going to help you become this independent version where you don't feel guilty or responsible for your external. You just allow things to happen by surrendering and just knowing your boundaries, your self worth, and just focusing on your self love. And also mastering the mind. So you had quite a lot of insight about this situation already, and or perhaps you did not at the time. While you were in this stressful situation, you might have realized this later on, but initially you were stressed out as F. Okay, and you were quite stressed. There's no other word that I can top because it was terrible. It was, you felt like it was driving you crazy how you can have this much attraction towards somebody and the other person could not care less. This is quite annoying because I can relate because I've experienced this as well. But the truth of that point where you were stressing out was all of this. That you were stressing out, which is confirmed in the mental focus card. It was stressing you out. It was not healthy. It was the universe was pushing you to hold off this choice for another time. Perhaps you were bent on making a decision about this relationship. Perhaps you wanted to put a label on it, whether it is a romantic collection, or whether it's a romantic connection or a platonic connection, or do you call them your brother, or do you like what is this connection? And you were going through this spiritual awakening, and this person was like, la 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 la, I don't care. I mean, it was so hard and it was really stressful for you. And I'm not laughing at your misery, I'm just laughing at my past as well, in a good way, because it has brought me to the place I am today. So I am grateful. And if you're still going through this phase, um, just know good times are ahead. There is so much better things coming your way, so much peace, clarity. And I know it's you want to sometimes detach quickly because it's like coming onto your self-respect, but you feel so much pull, you can't really help it. So I what I have understood from that is that first time they do something, a block gets set like gets put up. Like if they did something that hurt you, this is the wall. But for divine feminines and empaths and highly spiritual people, they have a lot of tolerance. Their tolerance level is like off the roof. And I don't and the threshold is so high that it takes so many of those walls to be put up before you finally say, okay, now I am done. And once you're done, you don't feel this attachment. So if this is something you're going through, let me tell you, you will feel relieved very soon when the divine when it's the time for you. You will detach. Something will happen, a divine intervention will happen, and you'll be able to break free if you're still feeling this unhealthy pull towards them. It's just to put you to such a level so that once you're done with this, you can only focus on your self development and growth. So that's the motivation behind that. And if this so at that time where you were stressing out, the ideal scenario would have been to hold off this choice for another time. But because we have not yet conquered this overthinking stage at that time, our mind does not stop. It's like decide. What are they? And so it becomes like almost obsessive, and that annoys your divine counterpart. Obviously, it is annoying, but yeah, that's how we learn. We make mistakes and we learn, and we should not be ashamed or guilty about that. Anyways, you are able to do this once you detach yourself temporarily from this connection. And the other confirmation is to worried, hold off this choice, and now tight, tense needs to be more flowing. I'm talking about the energy. So as we overthink, we sort of make the energy around us very dense, and any manifestation becomes very hard to cross that heavy cloud around us. That's why we need to be easy going and flowing so that the manifestations can reach the universe easily. And that was the truth about that situation in the stressful times. And the other thing was that with respect to this person, it says block. It says block them. It is beneficial for you to block this energy away, heal lost fragments within, and walk away. So it takes a certain amount of self-love and self-worth to walk away. It takes a lot of courage because you're feeling this level of intensity for somebody, and it's not easy to walk away. But how I was able to do that. Initially, I was fighting my feelings. I was telling myself, why do I have these feelings for this person when they say they don't? I don't want to have feelings for somebody who does not have feelings for me. Why am I always attracted to these relationships where I have to do all the work and they don't have anything, like they don't have anything to lose. They speak like they don't have anything to lose, and yeah, that was very sad. That was a bad, unhealthy energy for me to be in, but it took that for me to evolve from it. And I had to tell myself that yes, I do have very intense feelings for this person, and it's true that I love them. I am accepting that I love them. I have feelings for them. I accept this spiritual connection that I have with them, because their higher self would tell me what's happening, how do I, what is the right thing for me to do. They would always tell me that, and I could almost not almost, I felt this energy on, like like I can feel the energy of my divine masculine, and I could feel the energy, I could sense I was going through all these awakenings, and this other person was so busy in their work. So it was obviously annoying on both parts, because we are just reflecting each other. So what helped me move on is accepting that yes, 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 I love, I accept, I um, acknowledge this connection, but I love myself first. If this connection is not balanced for me, where both people are not nurturing the connection equally and giving it the time, attention, energy, getting that level of intimacy of sharing your thoughts and feelings with each other, if that is not the sort of connection that I have with this person, that I know is my divine counterpart, this relationship, even with my own twin flame self, does not feel fulfilling. And the truth was that I had to heal more within myself to fulfill myself, to not want love from anybody else, to give all the love that I used to give to everybody else back to myself as well, to nurture my inner child. And that deficit that I had was being reflected through my divine masculine. And so the truth of the situation is that it's best that if it is not a balanced connection, have so much love for yourself to not engage in an imbalanced connection, to have the strength to walk away. Most of this happens because we don't have a healthy masculine figure in our lives that we can look up to, that we can have certain expectations, like not expectation in an unhealthy way, because we should love everybody unconditionally, including ourselves. But we don't know what we deserve initially when we're starting on with this journey. We don't know what are the good healthy boundaries that we can set up in a connection, and there's a lot of imbalance that needs to be balanced out. The duality needs to be balanced out. um, and for that, a lot of love and self-care, a lot of evolvement from limited beliefs, a lot of healing is needed on both parties to meet each other halfway. And when you are balanced from within, because we are both masculine feminine energies, when we are balanced from within, that gets reflected in the external. And so if that is not being reflected in your reality, whether you are resonate with this twin flame connection or not, if any relationship makes you feel less than your divine beautiful self, it means that healing is required on your part, to heal your inner child, to heal yourself, to give so much love to yourself that you don't settle for anything less. You look up to the divine masculine figures in the universe, which is the father sun, father sky, and how we connect to their energy. Like, think of them as the idol that you're looking for instead of an unhealthy masculine figure in your life from the past. So that is some personal advice that has helped me. um, Obviously, I am still learning to like not cope, but I'm still on this journey, and we are all learning and evolving. And yeah, the enjoyment is in the ride. We have to enjoy every moment, because we are the only person we need to be happy. Have all this happiness within ourselves. And as we release more and more of this self limitation, we become more and more happy. And coming back to the truth about the situation, the truth at that time was that uh, this divine counterpart was taking you for granted due to their own illusions, and they were underestimating who you were. They were oblivious about the intensity of this connection and how magnificent and profound it is. But the card is guiding you to be unaffected because you know the truth. So don't feel low or sad about this, about them having illusions, because you know the truth, and that's all you need to be happy. And acceptance. The other truth about this situation is acceptance. To receive gifts, blessings, gestures from loved ones, abundance, and work in all spheres of your life. Your patience is being rewarded, and your determination and courage are bearing fruit. The truth about this situation was that by you walking away, finding your own power, you were meant to. You are destined to bring abundance in all spheres of your life by yourself, having so much unwavering faith in yourself that you are all you need to be happy, to be successful. And yes, we do attract healthy connections when we are in this energy, but that is not something you need to be happy. It is um, icing on the cake, cherry on the top, like something like that. um, so I hope that this reading was helpful for you, and if you enjoyed it, please give it a like, and I wish you lots of love and light on your journey. Thank you.